What's good, everybody? In this video, we're going to be breaking down multi-step equations in 3 steps. We did a live stream on this topic about 2 days ago. It's linked down below. Make sure you guys go ahead and check that out. We went over a lot of examples and took our time to explain. Now, with this video, this is important because we are going to improve your equation solving accuracy, meaning you're going to get 10 times better at solving equations. So the 3 rules I use to solve multi-step equations are distribute if necessary, simplify, and solve. But before we get to that very first step, what I always tell students to do is analyze your problem. When we look at this problem, I know I'm going to start off here and I'm going to start off here because of the fact that we need to distribute. So let's go ahead and do that. So I have 8 times x, which gives me negative 8x. Negative 8 times 3 gives me positive 24, right? 4 is outside of parentheses, stays the same, we bring it down. Sorry. So that's the first half of the problem. And what I'm going to do in this video, before we jump to the other side, let's just clean up one side. So I already went through distributed. The next step says to simplify. So I'm going to simplify this side before I even try to move anything from this side to the other or from the other side to this side. So we combine our like terms, negative 8x plus 28. That's it. Now I'm done with this side for now. Let's go back over here. So after identifying the fact that we need to distribute, I go ahead and I complete it. Negative 7x plus 28 minus x. I notice here that there's a difference. On this side, we have like terms that were constants. On this side, our like terms are variables. So now just pay attention to your signs. Negative 7 and a negative 1, once we combine that, that's going to give us negative 8x plus 28. Now, something interesting is happening here. The left-hand side of the equation is equal to the right side. So I'm going to break this down more. One, the answer is going to be infinite solutions, which could be represented by this symbol. Why? Because the left-hand side is equal to the right-hand side. So this, we could stop here and this would be our answer. Or if you're one of the students that say, hey, you know what? I'm going to combine. I'm going to go one step further. Once we do that step, all we're left with is 28 is equal to 28. And that's a true statement. So when we have infinite solutions, that means that any number we plug in for x is going to be an answer. It does not matter. And let's say we go back to this step here, right? Let's rewrite it one more time. 8x plus 28 is equal to negative 8x plus 28. Now let's say this time you cancel out the constants. So we subtracted 28 instead of the 8x, right? So that means I'm left with negative 8x is equal to negative 8x. So if you notice, whether it's here, here, or here, right, we got the same exact answer. And that's just showing us that, hey, no matter what number we plug in for x, the left side of the equation is going to equal to the right-hand side. Now, before we move on, I wanted just to touch on something else, right? So let's write this out. So when we have infinite solutions like what we just had, we know the left-hand side is equal to the right-hand side. But there's 2 other examples, right? So this is infinite solutions. Let's say we have one solution. And just remember that these are linear equations, meaning there's only one answer. So we either have infinite solution where the left side is equal to the right side, one solution where x is equal to a specific number, right? And then the last solution is when we have no solution. And I really wanted to touch on no solution because there's a very, very special thing that happens that could confuse you. So, number one, when there's no solution, typically in most situations, you're going to see 2 numbers. You're going to see something like this: negative 3 is equal to 1. That will never be a true statement because the values are not the same. Negative 3 will never be equal to 1. This is an example of no solution. No answer will work. Another example of this, Let's say we have 4 is equal to 5. That is a no solution because that is not a true statement. Now, students get this confused with one solution because of one number, 0. So if you have something like this, 3x is equal to 0, remember that 0 has a number value, right? 0 has a number value. So we would continue with our equation, solving steps, and the answer will be x is equal to 0. Let's say we had a different problem where it was 20x is equal to 0. This is not a no solution answer. No, not at all. We would have to divide by 20, right? Follow those equation steps, and x would actually be equal to 0. Plugging in 0 will give us a situation where the left hand side is going to be equal to the right hand side, meaning a true statement. Now we're going to go over to our second problem of the day. And we really hope you've been enjoying this video because you guys have definitely been asking for multi-step equations. Thank you for watching. So following the rules that I was just telling you guys about, right? First thing we want to do, distribute if necessary, but we have to analyze the problem. So I said, okay, I'm going to distribute 5x to 9, right? And then over here, I'm not distributing 19, but I'm going to distribute this negative sign to what's inside the parentheses. So now I go ahead, 5x plus 45 minus x is equal to 19 minus 3x minus 9. Now, anytime that you complete an equation step, there's two things. Number one, do one step at a time, guys. There's no rush. I see a lot of mistakes from students because they're trying to do so many steps or so many steps at one time. Break it down. All I did was distribute. After you do a step, guys, check your multiplication, check your steps. All right, 5 times x, 5x. 5 times 9, 45. Stays the same, stays the same. Now this becomes negative, this becomes negative. I'm good. Now we move to the next step. Simplify each side. 5x and negative x, this is going to give me 4x. Plus 45 is equal to, and then on this side, 3x stays the same, right? No like terms, 19 minus 9 is going to give me a positive 10. I go back, I double check. Okay, positive 5x minus 6, that's 4x, stays the same. 19 minus 9 is 10, negative 3x stays the same. I did not forget the negative because that happens. So make sure after each step, you double check the process, and this is going to improve accuracy because we want to get these right. So now I'm looking, I say, okay, if I bring 3x to this side, right, that means I got to bring 45 to the other side because I know variables, constants have to be on the opposite side of the equal sign. So let's add 3x. Add 3x. And as you see, I'm doing one step at a time. I'm not trying to add 45 and 10 and 3x and 4x. No. So we have 7x plus 45 is equal to positive 10, right? We know that the constant has to be on the opposite side of this variable. So let's move it. It's positive. To get it to 0, move it to the other side, I have to subtract it. That's the opposite of addition, right? Now we have 7x is equal to 10 minus 45. So try not to make a mistake when it comes to adding or subtracting. Sometimes we move too fast, right? So make sure each step, double check your work. So this is going to give me a negative 35. Now at this very last step, we're going to go ahead and divide, and I know x is going to be equal to negative 5. So when we're talking about multi-step equations, guys, remember these 3 steps. Distribute if necessary, simplify, and then solve. But it's important that before we even start doing a problem, look at it. What needs to be done at what step? And after you do that step, check for accuracy, then go to the next step. Really hope this solving multi-step equations video was helpful for you guys. Smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, leave comments for future videos you guys would like to see on our channel, or if there were questions from this video. Thank you guys for joining us today.